You're throwing money away every single year, and you don't even realize it. Right now, sitting in your closet, there's a pair of boots you bought 18 months ago. The sole is separating, the leather is cracking, the stitching is coming undone. You paid $80, maybe $120 for them, and soon you'll throw them out and buy another pair that will fail exactly the same way. Your grandfather didn't live like this. His boots lasted 40 years, not because he babied them, but because they were made using knowledge that we've systematically erased from modern manufacturing. Here's what that erasure costs you. The average person now buys 7 to 8 pairs of shoes every year. A century ago, that number was 1. You're spending more money on worse products that last a fraction of the time, and the companies selling you these boots have engineered it that way on purpose. There used to be a master cobbler in almost every town, 7 years of apprenticeship minimum. These people could look at leather and tell you which part of the hide it came from, how the animal was fed, whether the tanning was done correctly. That person, they don't exist anymore. Not because the demand disappeared, but because the entire system that produced them was deliberately dismantled. Walk into any city today and try to find someone who can resole a boot using a Goodyear welt. You'll search for hours, maybe days. And when that knowledge dies completely, you lose more than just the ability to repair shoes. You lose the understanding of what quality actually means. Medieval leather workers could produce material so dense, so perfectly structured that it could stop early firearm projectiles. The leather they made got stronger as it aged. It developed a patina. It molded to your foot over years and became more comfortable, not less. Your modern boots do the opposite. They degrade from the moment you buy them. Why? Because in 1924, a group of lightbulb manufacturers formed a cartel and agreed to limit bulb lifespan to 1,000 hours. Before that, bulbs lasted 2,500 hours or more. They proved you could engineer failure, make products die on schedule. And that philosophy spread to every industry, including leather goods. Now your boots have an expiration date built into them at the factory. Look at your boots right now. See that sole? It's already dying. But here's what they don't want you to calculate. $400 boots that last 20 years cost you $20 per year. Your $100 boots that last 2 years, $50 per year. The cheap boots are more expensive, significantly more expensive. And you keep buying them because nobody taught you how to recognize quality anymore. That knowledge used to be common. Now it's rare enough that companies can sell you petroleum-coated cardboard and call it genuine leather. That term, by the way, genuine leather, it's the lowest quality grade that can legally be called leather. Marketing language designed to trick you. Medieval guilds didn't operate that way. Quality standards weren't suggestions, they were law. Sell bad leather, lose your business. Do it again, some regions would take your life. Your reputation wasn't marketing, it was survival. We've traded that system for one where corporations profit from your repeated failure. Your grandfather's boots weren't just footwear. They were a repository of skill, care, and intention that spanned from the tanner to the cobbler to the person who conditioned the leather every month for 40 decades. What are your boots? Glued plastic wearing a thin veneer of low-grade hide. But you're not stuck with this. The knowledge still exists, the materials still exist, and once you understand what you're looking for, you can opt out of the planned obsolescence system entirely. You can buy once and wear for decades. Because medieval leather wasn't bulletproof by accident. It was bulletproof because people understood materials, time, and quality in ways we've deliberately forgotten. And in the next part, you're going to learn exactly what they knew. You think tanning leather is about putting hide in a chemical bath and waiting a day. That's what happens now. That's not what tanning actually is. Real tanning, the kind that produces leather tough enough to stop a musket ball, takes between 12 and 18 months, minimum. And it doesn't use chemicals invented in a laboratory. It uses tree bark, time, and material knowledge that most modern manufacturers have never encountered. Let me show you what medieval tanners actually did. You start with a raw hide, fresh from the butcher. You soak it in lime solution for weeks until the hair loosens enough to scrape off. Already you're a month in, and you haven't started tanning yet. Next comes the baiting process. You soak the hide in a solution of water and animal feces, usually dog or pigeon dung. This sounds primitive until you understand the chemistry. The enzymes in the waste break down remaining proteins, softening the hide and preparing it to accept tannins. Medieval tanners didn't know about enzymes, but they knew this step determined whether your final leather would be supple or stiff. 2 months in now. Here's where the real tanning begins. Medieval Europe used oak bark, tons of it. You'd create increasingly concentrated tanning solutions in a series of pits. Week 1, weak tannin solution. Week 4, stronger. Week 8, stronger still. You're moving this hide through 8, 10, sometimes 12 different pits, each one more concentrated than the last. Why? Because if the leather hardens too fast on the surface, the tannins can't penetrate deep enough. The whole thing fails. You're doing this by hand, lifting waterlogged hides that weigh 40, 50 pounds, moving them from pit to pit on a schedule that can't vary. This is craft knowledge you can't learn from a book. You learn it by doing it wrong 100 times under a master who's done it right for 30 years. 18 months of back-breaking labor for one piece of leather. Now, here's what's happening at the molecular level and why this matters for that bulletproof claim. Vegetable tanning creates cross-links between collagen fibers in the hide. The fiber structure remains intact and actually tightens as the leather ages. The material gets denser, stronger, more impact-resistant. When early firearms appeared in medieval Europe, crude weapons firing lead balls at relatively low velocities, thick vegetable-tanned leather could genuinely stop them. The leather didn't stop projectiles through magic. It stopped them through fiber density and structural integrity that modern leather simply doesn't possess. Because modern leather isn't made this way anymore. In the 1850s, chrome tanning was invented. Instead of 12 to 18 months, you can tan a hide in 24 hours. Instead of oak bark, you use chromium salts, toxic heavy metals. The process is cheap, it's fast, it's scalable, and it produces fundamentally inferior leather. Chrome-tanned leather doesn't age well. It doesn't develop patina. The fiber structure is compromised from the beginning. It cracks, it peels, it biodegrades in your closet. Worse, it's an environmental nightmare. Chromium tanning produces hexavalent chromium, a known carcinogen that contaminates water supplies near tanneries. Medieval tanners live to old age. Modern tannery workers, they don't make it to 50. That's what fast and cheap actually costs. Human lives. But you won't see that on the price tag. Chrome tanning didn't just speed up production, it eliminated the need for skilled labor. You can train someone to chrome tan leather in a week. You don't need 7 years of apprenticeship. You don't need to understand material science at an intuitive level. So the guilds died, the master craftspeople died, the apprenticeship system died. What we gained was cheap boots you can buy at any mall. What we lost was leather that could stop bullets. Not metaphorical bullets, actual lead projectiles fired from weapons designed to kill. Medieval leather was bulletproof because the people making it understood something fundamental. Quality is a function of time, knowledge, and uncompromising standards. Modern leather is disposable because the people manufacturing it understand something different. Profit is a function of speed, volume, and consumer ignorance. You're not buying boots anymore. You're buying planned obsolescence wrapped in marketing language. But understanding the problem is half the equation. In the next part, you're going to learn exactly how corporations engineered your boot's expiration date, and more importantly, why they did it. There's a light bulb burning in a fire station in Livermore, California that's been on since 1901. 125 years. Same bulb, still working. You want to know why the bulbs in your house burn out every year? Because in 1924, the world's largest light bulb manufacturers formed a cartel called the Phoebus Group.
They met in Geneva and agreed, in writing, to limit bulb lifespan to 1,000 hours. They proved something crucial. You can engineer failure. You can design products to die on schedule. That philosophy didn't stay contained to light bulbs. It metastasized into every industry, including the one that makes your boots. What you're wearing on your feet right now is the direct descendant of that 1924 decision. Your boots aren't failing by accident. They're failing because someone calculated exactly when they should fall apart. Let me show you how they do it. First, the leather itself. When you see a boot advertised as genuine leather, you think you're getting real leather. You're not. Here's how leather grading actually works. Full-grain leather is the outer layer of the hide, with the grain pattern intact. This is the strongest part. It's what medieval tanners used. It's what quality boots are made from. Then everything else is varying degrees of garbage. Top grain, surface sanded off. Corrected grain, fake grain stamped on, coated with polymers. Genuine leather, leather particle board, scraps shredded and glued together. But here's the trick. All of these can be legally marketed as leather. You pay $150 thinking you bought quality. You bought trash with a 3-month warranty. Go to your closet right now, check the tag. If it says genuine leather, you got scammed. Now let's talk about construction. Traditional boot construction uses Goodyear welting. You stitch the upper to a welt, then stitch the welt to the sole. This creates a boot you can re-sole indefinitely. Boots built this way can last 50 years. Your boots aren't built this way. They're glued. And glue fails. It fails when exposed to water, heat, when flexed repeatedly, usually within 18 to 24 months. When the sole separates, you can't repair it. You throw the entire boot away and buy a new pair. This is intentional design, because a boot that lasts 50 years only generates 1 sale. A boot that lasts 2 years generates 25 sales over the same period. From a profit perspective, durability is a liability. Now, the markup scandal. A typical boot sold for $150 costs between $12 and $18 to manufacture. You're paying a 900% markup for a product designed to fail. The premium boots sold for $300, they often come from the same factories, same corrected grain leather, same glued construction. The only difference is the brand logo and the marketing story about heritage. They're selling you the illusion of quality while delivering the same engineered failure. And you keep buying it because actual quality has been systematically removed from most markets. Try walking into a department store and finding boots with full-grain vegetable tanned leather and Goodyear welt construction. You won't. The market has been captured by planned obsolescence. Your grandfather would have been horrified. When his boots wore out, he took them to a cobbler. Repair was the default. Now repair feels like more effort than it's worth because the boots aren't designed to be repaired in the first place. So you throw them away. Landfills, millions of pairs of boots every year, leaching chromium and polymers into the groundwater. You're not just wasting money, you're generating environmental damage on a scale that's hard to comprehend. But here's what really makes this a conspiracy. The corporations know. They understand material science. They know how to make durable products. Some of them used to make durable products before they realized planned obsolescence was more profitable. They made a choice, a calculated, deliberate choice to prioritize short-term profit over product longevity. Remember that master cobbler I mentioned? The one who's the last one in town? He's in his 70s now, and when he dies, that knowledge dies with him, unless you decide it's worth preserving. I know this is infuriating, but here's the good news. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And that's when you get your power back. You can opt out completely. The knowledge still exists, the materials still exist, and once you understand what you're looking for, you can buy boots that will outlast you. That's what comes next.
So here's where you are right now. You know that your boots are designed to fail. You know that medieval leatherworkers produced material that could literally stop bullets. You know that corporations engineered this decline deliberately. The question is, what are you going to do about it? You have two paths forward. Path 1, keep buying $80 boots that fall apart in 18 months. Keep throwing money at planned obsolescence. Keep being the consumer they've trained you to be. Or Path 2, learn what your grandfather knew. Find full-grained vegetable tanned leather. Look for Goodyear welt construction. Buy once and wear for decades. Become a steward instead of a consumer. Opt out of the system entirely. Path 2 requires effort, research, spending more money up front, even though you'll spend less over time. But here's what you get in return. Boots that mold to your feet over years and become more comfortable, not less. Leather that develops character instead of cracking. Construction you can repair indefinitely. And you get your money back multiple times over. $400 for boots that last 20 years is $20 per year. Your $100 boots that die every 2 years cost you $50 per year. The math isn't complicated. The choice is. Now, I know some of you are thinking, I still don't know which brands to buy. I don't know how to spot quality in person. You're right. This video gave you the framework, the history, the why, but there's more to learn. How to recognize full-grain leather by touch, how to inspect Goodyear welt stitching, which heritage manufacturers are still doing it right, how to condition and waterproof leather so it lasts decades. That's coming in the next videos. But here's the deal. If this video changed how you think about quality and consumption, hit like, because I've got more to expose. Share this with someone who needs to hear it, your friend who complains about buying new boots every year, anyone trapped in the cycle of planned obsolescence who doesn't even realize there's an exit. Subscribe if you want to learn how to buy things once instead of replacing them forever. Because this isn't just about boots, it's about furniture, clothing, tools, everything we've been trained to treat as disposable. The knowledge exists, the materials exist, the craftspeople exist. What's been missing is you knowing how to find them. That changes now. Your grandfather's boots lasted 40 years because he knew something you're just starting to learn. Quality isn't about spending more money, it's about spending money correctly, once. Medieval leather was bulletproof because the people making it couldn't afford to produce garbage. Their livelihood depended on excellence. Your boots fall apart because modern corporations can't afford for you to stop buying. Choose which system you want to participate in, and I'll see you in the next one where we talk about exactly which boots to buy and how to make them last until your grandkids inherit them. Your grandfather knew quality when he saw it. So do you now. Stop funding your own obsolescence.